We've shed the backpack, the jump pack, the strike pack. And now we charge back into the breach with bolt gun and friends.
Let's do this.
Smashing faces wasn't enough. We got to do some more.
Now we're chasing the orcs, correct?
We're, at the moment, we're trying to take down a big gun. A big fucking gun. And yes, we're trying to penetrate the orc stronghold within our, well, not our, but this world's previous stronghold. A lot of the garrison is dead. Most of it is dead. It's just us left here.
Alright. Let's do it.
No backup. No nothing. But we don't need it. We're Space Marines. He's clutching the bolter under barrel as he's sprinting too. It's kind of interesting. They have the option to magnetically clamp it to their armor, but I guess to keep it there faster. Or just available for the strike. Did I go backwards?
You did.
I went backwards. Alright, let's look at this area again. Cool. Pipes.
Yay.
Orky pieces. That's an orc rock, by the way.
Orc rock?
Good point. This is an orc landing vehicle. So orcs will take their cobbled together space armada, and when they're looking to attack a nearby planet, they will find asteroids, which they will hollow out, and they will strap engines and guns to them. And they'll pack themselves into these asteroids, right? And they'll launch them at the planet. So typically an orc landing is just a big old crater in the ground, and a lot of orcs die, but some make it out, and that is a success. But if the orc rock does not break up completely on impact, and more orcs make it out to attack the environment, well, that's a resounding success. So for these guys, it's not a loss either way, because a bunch of dead orcs in Planet Atmo means what?
More orcs in the end.
More orcs later, exactly. So they're not exactly the most
forward-thinking
creatures much of the time. They depend on the bosses to do that. Which is neat to think about, because other races would like to land safely on the planet and then safely leave the planet. This whole safety thing doesn't really fly with orcs. I mean, come on, and in fantasy they have doom divers. Just throw some goblins at it. They'll go. It'll be fine.
Nope, it'll work.
How about this? Nope, not effective. Poor wretched. Why are we so mean to them?
You said they were once the...
It is widely speculated. It's not canon, officially, but they're the remnants of the species that engineered the orcs.
Ah.
They just kind of devolved back down, or maybe they just went feral. Like they were always small, like diminutive, but they had big brains.
And then because they created the orcs, and the orcs just, you know...
Well, the orcs did the orcs' job all the way through. The orcs haven't changed much. That's the trick, is that you left a weapon that self-repopulates, it's going to do the weapon thing forever. Oh, what do we have here?
Vengeance launcher.
The Vengeance, that's a little bit too close. That texture did not look good that close. This is not a weapon that is... at the time of this game, it wasn't even a thing.
Really?
Like, Marines did not have grenade launchers. I think since then they may have put it as a piece of equipment in the main tabletop game, but I was not familiar with it. Like, this is a video game original weapon. I mean, again, saying a grenade launcher, how original, seems really weird. But it's not part of normal Marine kit.
Makes sense. Sometimes desperate measures call for desperate weapons.
Here, try this. The mechanic can put it together. I don't know what it does. Like sticky grenades or something? It's weird. Do it though.
You shoot it and it blows up.
Look at these door locks, man. Push the skull in the eye socket. Watch it blink and lower into the ground.
Well, it's the Almighty Lord's text-to-speech face.
Oh yes, yes, the Emperor's text-to-speech device.
Yes.
Gotta love it.
Now, I kept watching some of those.
What'd you think?
They're pretty good.
No.
Some of them are weird, but some of them are good.
They're mostly weird. Is it accessible? My question.
Yes.
Like, you don't know anything about this, but can you follow it based on what they're doing? Because they're basically trying to educate and gripe about the canon.
No, you can definitely get it. Like, okay, this lore makes... they do a good job of doing that.
Now, Chucks, for reference, if you're ever up against a Space Marine, you see this, but from the other side, just move. Don't stand your ground. It's not worth it.
Alright.
If the guy literally next to you is like, I'm gonna shoot you in the head if you move, you're like, I'm gonna take that chance. I know that's death. You might miss.
Okay.
Melt-a-bombs. The Willy Pete of this universe. Oh boy. Double bang. What happens if I, oh, that happens. That's too close, though. I shouldn't do that. 3 grenades at a time. Let's switch back to our trusty old... it's close combat time. Pistol and sword. No board. We are the board.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
time it right, you can do different combos.
Really?
Not that you need to, necessarily, but you can. Oh, the shooter boys. They're out in force. Swing. And slow swing. That wasn't
So are the orcs in fantasy the same orcs from this?
Great question. No, unless 40K completely engulfs this. Meaning that the fantasy world is one more planet. They're a different strain of orc. They have the same features, they still use orc magic. They're just not referred to the same way. They're orcs with a C, and they don't bother figuring out that they're plant-based. Like, that's not a factor in their culture or science. They don't care. They're just orcs. But while they are distinct, legally distinct from each other, it's fair to say, yeah, probably same orcs. You guys just don't give up.
Okay.
And
I was just curious, because yeah, they both carry axes around and
Choppers.
Yeah, choppers.
Not a whole lot of error boys in 40K, unless you play the Feral Orc League, which is the orc remnants that are left behind after a failed invasion. They don't have innate leadership, but there's no big war group to link up with. They're just, what do they say? The tribe will grow their crop themselves, right? Mm-hmm. And they will declare holy war in a given direction, and just war that way. They will name themselves after the biggest thing they seem to kill. Like, they'll just like, well, this is our totem and this is our purpose. And if they happen to discover, like if this is not a feral world, completely. Once they discover an automatic weapon or something similar, and after a few failed experiments as to which end is which, they will then seize it and procure more of it and continue to wage war. Because they have their basic commandments.
Is it
in
war
their
or
genes.
wog?
Well, when the orcs unite, when they have leadership, when they have direction, it becomes a
that's
war. It is a holy thing for orcs. I wonder if I just run into you. Just shoulder check. He lived! He somehow lived. But then I did that. And he didn't live anymore. It's a weird curve in this game because you can take damage, but a fungal beast mouth with explosives strapped to it, dynamite strapped to it, will kill you. Or heavily injure you so that I can finish you off. But you still feel pretty damn strong. Naturally, if you spike the difficulty, the numbers go higher, you just take more damage, but I feel like that's not canon to this story. Remember also that orcs fire rounds from weapons that shouldn't fire in the first place.
Really?
Meaning, yeah, the guns don't work. We bring this up every time, you forget every time. Like, if you take an orc weapon and you disassemble it, and you put it back together, it shouldn't work. There's no way it should be firing. But they believe it does. And in their hands it does. Meaning, to some degree, damn. Orc munitions are psychic. To some degree. Which can help explain that, yeah, you throw enough rounds at something. A Space Marine armor should handle a lot of stuff. But there's a chance, with the dice that you roll, that their non-rounds, their weapons, will still kill them. Bypass their toughness, bypass their armor plating, and deal lethal damage. That shouldn't be possible, except, of course, it happens. Meaning, they believe that it can happen, and their psychic power overrides physics.
Okay, didn't know that.
Yeah. Again, depending on who you ask them, they say, that's bullshit, that makes no sense. But that's what I believe. That'd be a really good time to use your special power. I keep forgetting to look it up, that's what the command is. On the brink of death, and then I heal myself because anger.
There you go.
Or drug distributors in in your armor. Now, bear with me for a second. I'm super curious. Okay. Nice. I need, spoiler, weapon. What about overall controls? No, not at all. This is weird. Am I just not seeing it? The extra burst power?
I do not see it either. I see nothing.
Fury gain. How do I fury? Ha! Alright, we'll prevail without it, for now. And next time, for sure, remind me, we'll forget, but remind me to look it up.
Right, we'll do.
I wonder how long the blood stays in your armor. It goes away eventually.
There. I will
There's
place
a
the
lot
charge
of
on that shell.
it. Every time you roll, a little bit of the blood scrapes off. So keep rolling. I'm just gonna put this explosive charge on this bigger explosive charge.
Move the shell into place.
Say what?
I'm gonna move this trolley by myself because I'm fucking amazing, huh? I don't want to use this bomb. It's a good bomb.
So if that blows up, then that means all the shells in there blow up.
Yeah.
That's not good.
That's great. That's what we need to make this gun stop firing. Just to shoot the shells.
We cannot rely on luck.
Sabotage.
But if you're inside there,
We follow
it's
the
not a
shell
good thing
up
to do.
and make
Oh,
sure
we're
anyone
wearing
gets
power
to
armor.
destination.
Without helmets, we'll be fine.
Now back to the lift.
Back to the lift. But not through this door. This way.
Now you're gonna fight yourself all the way back.
I'm gonna fight myself all the way back. The
Gonna
orcs
fight-
just happen to have respawned. Or have they? Press these buttons to get your health back. It doesn't make sense, but I'll take it. I will do what I must in my service for the Emperor. Hey, the blood's gone.
Yeah, all went away.
If I sprint fast enough, it just wicks off the steel. Give me back that health. I need it for a second.
Oop. There you go.
One of them, not the big guy. Big guy takes a little more. And he really hurts. So stuns are necessary. Stun lock combo? Why not? Stop.
Oh, there you go. Finally down.
I gotta fight him for it. Yes! Pretend the clicking his teeth through the sword.
Oh, through his face?
Through his face.
Into
Well,
a
half
wall.
his face. That keeps happening. I gotta kill him not up against the wall so I can show you guys. But that's okay. You can tell it was brutal. And the best thing to do, of course, is to back away, because giant orc with war bat is a bad idea to tackle close quarters, but I am a fucking captain.
This is not a drill.
Leandros must do what he can.
Oh, and after the
looking
rest
good.
of the Space Marines that were with you,
What rest of us?
they didn't deploy more of you?
Not for... well, I mean, the Thunderhawk with my squad apparently went down, but all you saw in the beginning were the 3. The way they figured it is the chapter is mustering in orbit, but we've got to find out what's going on first. And they figured, we sent 3 Space Marines, why isn't this fixed yet? Well,
Okay.
it's just some orcs. We don't need anybody else's help. Yeah, ammo for everything. Although, like you say, they're shipping containers with all this weaponry. Maybe there should be some more Space Marines here.
Yeah, there should be.
I guess the point is, shut up, action game.
Gotcha.
That's what they're going with in this case. Because shut up, though.
Like, why is this, shut up, that's why, okay.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? I'm entertained.
I'm pretty entertained.
Aww. They're sending mixed units. By mixed, I mean useless.
Now, in the tabletop game, how would this actually go?
6 inches at a time.
I get that, but in comparison to each other's units normally in the tabletop game,
Well, let's review this. The orcs are really good at hand-to-hand combat. Good enough that they override physics sometimes. And they have a lot more attacks in close quarters than they do by shooting. So 3 Space Marines, even though one of them is an officer, so his stat line is a little bit better, are charging into a building full of orcs with hatchets and anger and teeth. I think the odds are not the Space Marine side.
yeah.
Now you could say, hey, named units, special abilities, extra equipment, you could say that, but I wouldn't believe you.
So the game's completely different than how they show on here.
Yeah, I mean, they're showing you the best stuff. Yes, the Space Marines are really cool, but when it comes down to numbers on the board, they're far less merciful than what is happening here. 3 Space Marines. So you get into close quarters, the orcs charge you, you get off 2, maybe 3 attacks, the orcs get off like 4 or 5 each. That's a lot of dice. They could roll all ones and die and kill themselves with their hatchets. They can't do that, but let's just say, like, they completely fail. But the odds are not in your favor.
No, they're not.
I'm gonna run through this wall. What's over here? More grenades? Okay, don't need them right now. Wait till next time.
It just seems to be a little bit curious, because when playing Warhammer Total War, you hear some of the stuff when people talk about the lore of the game, like, yeah, in the tabletop this is no bueno. Like, this is, the units that playing here are better than this unit,
Yes.
so they would have won.
Remember that units have different movement rates. They have very different abilities to react to close quarters or deal with range. In some cases, if you move a unit, you can't fire with it that turn. So whoever has you move into their range has a huge advantage. Like, it's going to be tricky. But I still salute it for giving you that variety. As a tabletop game, you have all the pause buttons in the world. You can navel gaze to your heart's content and plan your moves. But you also have dice. So hard numbers can really help, but that random chance will more often than not spoil your plans.
Makes sense. So the combat we had earlier today on tabletop probably wouldn't have gone as good as we thought it would have.
No, probably pretty good. You have a lot of means to overpower the enemy. What is this Spirited Seal going to do for us? Marksman mode. Whenever I figure out how to trigger that shit, I'll use it.
Control L.
T. That's all it takes. Left control. T to Fury, and then left control for Marksman mode to shoot more better. So it's all good.
Makes sense now.
But I mean, again, you're going to throw... Let's just take straight up numbers. You had 100 units in that battle, and the opponent had 20. It's going to be fairly one-sided. Unless there's like some key objective that they can hold to deny you victory, because the goal isn't to kill them all, but to stop them from doing a thing. You can pull off a win. But as far as straight up engagement, no.
Now, in these type of games, when you're playing on tabletop, you have 6 versus 6, 5v5, 4v4 gigantic maps between 5 different people holding worlds.
Yeah, that happens. They're big games and they're long games. They could be all-day games, actually.
Dear God.
So you can definitely do that if you can follow it through. And there's a limitation. Usually games last for 4 turns, so instead of different rules. You can make it last for longer, but sometimes you're shuffling like the remains of your meager army across the board. Marksman mode. Yeah, that seems to be working. Place your shots and kill them all. Really good shooting. So like if you have a... Fuck me if this happens, but a 4,000 point battle, well, that's a 2-on-2. So every turn you've got to move between 10 and 20 units, let's say. Make your calculations as far as close quarters combat or long distance combat, flanking maneuvers, reserves, drop-ins, infiltration. There's a lot of pieces to figure out. How they're going to move, where they're going to move. And then of course combat, like as soon as you have a few units together in a big old dog pile like your spearman did earlier, that's a lot of dice rolls, keeping track of everything, not forgetting to make certain moves. It's terrible. It's exciting because there's a lot, but it could also be, hey, my elite warriors have descended from a teleportation boom and they're ready to charge the opponent next turn. Cool. His big cannon fires and takes out 3/4 of them. Okay, that strategy's spoiled. What do we do now?
Now, can you hide units in the game?
You can break line of sight, yeah. And you can, there's units that are hard to see, like they're infiltrators with cloak. Yeah, you can do that. Specialty units. But as far as big ones, like let's say if you have something like Imperial Guard, Armored Corps, so you have a lot of tanks, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to arrive, because you have reinforcement rules active. Something is going to arrive every turn, maybe. Let's see how you roll. And then you roll a series of ones, like, well, I guess the mud is really bad this season because they're fucking stuck just over that hill over there, you see, and you can't join the battle. Or you really, like, you roll for 1 of 4 units, and the one you need just doesn't turn up. Like, you need a 6, and you just don't get it. Like, well, I mean, the speeder's over there, and there's an EPC full of engineers, but that's not what I need right now.
Gotcha.
So the chance that you encounter is bad enough that you can't defend it all the time, unless you really fine-tune your army and you make it the way you need it, with really no chance of failure. Like, you got it on lock. Your army does what it needs to do at least 3/4 of the time. That's pretty certain.
Okay.
But like, if my job is to get across the board with my orcs on these flimsy trucks and get in some close quarters fighting, and they get blown up, that's a problem. I can't win this game.
I think we saw somebody do that on one of the tabletop games.
Yeah, against Tau. We're all about shooty. Like, yeah, I'm gonna keep charging you, but I know which way it's going.
But in fantasy, it'd be like on their orc riders or whatever, like the boar riders.
Yeah, which adds toughness, which, I mean, they can cross over. But the majority are still going to be big bricks of orc infantry in a formation that's going to have to march through. If it can't fit, or it can't move, or it gets blocked in, that breaks your routine. And you've got your honor guard, really heavy armor orcs, and the scrapper kind, and you have recruit units. That composition is yours to manage. And let's say you manage to grab 4 different units and you're attacking the same battle line, maneuver them, try to make it work, because you might be fighting with 2 units on the side versus 6 units on the side.
Okay.
We made it through the gun, we done blew it up real good too. And now we're gonna get attacked by some Gretchen here. We're don't even gotta look at them. Just fuck off. Oh, that was terrible.
Well, that's great.
Next up, we're gonna go through some shipping containers into that cathedral, and let's see if we can find Quasimodo. Next episode, Space Marine.
See ya.